Hi, my name is Natalie Stroh, and today I will be talking about bullying and teasing. We're going to be going over the types of teasing, the types of bullying, and the consequences that can come about because of it. So there's actually a couple types of teasing. There are the pro-social types of teasing and the antisocial teasing. And a lot of people don't understand whether these are harmful or not. You hear some people that consider teasing to be bullying and others to consider teasing being a happy way that a family shows love. But today we're going to actually watch a video that's going to share with us some of the positives that can come from the pro-social type of teasing.
It may not seem like it, but teasing, done with affection and skill, is a profound human accomplishment. There is a nasty teasing, of course, in which we pick away at a sore spot in someone's life. But here we're talking of the affectionate version, something generous and loving, which feels good to be on the receiving end of. It can be lovely to be teased when, for example, you're a teenager and in a grumpy, sullen mood, and your kindly dad nicknames you Hamlet, Shakespeare's Danish Prince of Gloom. Or when you're 45 and pretty serious in business, and your old university friends come around and call you by that name they made up for you when you were age 19, the night you failed dismally trying to pick up a German girl who was in town. All of us get a bit unbalanced in one way or another. Too serious, too gloomy, too jokey. And so we all benefit from being tugged back towards a healthier mean. The good teaser latches onto and responds to our distinctive imbalances and gets compassionately constructive about trying to change us, not by delivering a stern lesson, but by helping us to notice our excesses and laugh at them. We sense the teaser trying to give us a useful little shove in a good and secretly welcome direction, and therefore we know that at its affectionate best, teasing is at once sweet and constructive. The English literary critic Cyril Connolly once famously said, "Imprisoned in every fat man is a thin man wildly signaling to be let out." It's a general idea with multiple variants. Inside the fussy, over-formal individual, there's a more relaxed person looking for an opening. There's an ambitious, eager self, quietly despairing within the lazy man. The gloomy, disenchanted cynic harbors a more cheery, sunny sub-self in need of more recognition. The teasing remark speaks over the head of one's dominant personality to the subordinated side of the self, whom it helps to release and relax. It may not seem like.
I thought that video did a great job at really showing what teasing can do. I like to think of the example of a flower being able to grow out of a sidewalk, cement sidewalk. Sometimes we have to crack the sidewalk a little bit so that the soil and the seed down below can sprout above to create something beautiful. So some of the great things of pro-social teasing can include being able to flirt, helping with socializing, and helping resolve uncomfortable conflicts. So with this one, I like to think about times when I was super cranky and I didn't want to do anything my parents were telling me. I was just done. But my dad starts making those silly little voices, kind of teasing me a little bit so that I could crack a smile. So I love that example. Also, surprisingly, pro-social teasing is actually more common. So 2 out of 3 times, typically people are just pro-social teasing rather than anti-social teasing. So this can be helpful for when we can't tell, we don't know whether to be offended or not. It's better to just take it as pro-social teasing, just to help us get through and get by. Obviously, if this is an ongoing thing, you need to speak with the person or find some way to resolve it. But the antisocial teasing is definitely more aggressive. It will have more of an aggression than a joke percentage. It's also very confrontational, and normally only like half the people think it's even funny. Oftentimes the person being teased isn't smiling, isn't laughing, and isn't having any part of what's going on. So now that we've gone over teasing, we're going to dive into bullying. So in the textbook that we're reading, we can see the definition of what bullying is. And it's repeated systematic efforts to inflict harm on other people through physical, verbal, or social attack on a weaker person. So some of these categories or types of bullying can be split up into the four of the following. The first is physical. This can be kicking, spitting, hitting. The next is verbal, so using your words to harm someone. And relational, this is oftentimes someone who kind of dethrones someone socially. And cyberbullying, this is anything that hurts a person through electronics or the phone or social media, etc. So starting off with physical bullying, as we dive a little bit deeper, this is the one that we typically think of first when we think of bullying. It's very easily discoverable. Children that are physically bullied typically have bruises or, stab mark from a pencil lead, whatever it may be. So it's easily found within a victim. Also, this is often in younger children. So you don't really find it in middle school age or high school age, like the movies portray or like this picture portrays. That's typically just the movies. I'm not saying that it's completely out of the question, but normally it happens in more of kindergarten or elementary school age. So we move on to verbal bullying. I like to put the little quote, rumors and lies and threats, oh my, to remind you of lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Because as we see in this picture, lions, tigers, and bears kind of hide in the grass, ready to pounce on their prey. And with verbal bullying, it's actually really hard to determine whether someone is being verbally abused. This is because the bully typically hides in the grass and pounces on their prey when there's no adults around or no parents around, so they don't get caught. And this is a very harmful type of bullying, and a lot of kids just keep getting verbally abused and it's never caught. And so they eventually just break down. Now we can look at relational bullying. So I like to think of an example of a high school group of girls who are friends. Say someone moved in, Claire. She moved in and she was starting to get more popular in the school, in the friend group, and say Abby was starting to get jealous. So Abby might start participating in relational bullying. And this is the first step of this would be Abby would start excluding her from the group, maybe not inviting her to different events and not letting her sit at the table during lunch. And she would progress to step 2, which is spreading rumors. So Abby might start telling the school that Claire wets the bed still. And as you may guess, this might not be the most popular thing to still have happened to you. And so Abby would just be manipulating the system and making Claire seem less than she is because of the rumor spread. Now, step 3, that obviously would create a lack of confidence in Claire and just completely destroy her. It would also just knock her down. Probably wouldn't have very many friends. And this is often happens with people who are jealous or feel that they are losing their social status, so they like to knock down others' social statuses. Now, the last one, but also the most common one, is cyberbullying. So this is anything through the phone or social media, and is oftentimes just little posts that are lying or joking or teasing or posting an ugly picture or blackmailing. And this is oftentimes in older preteens or children that have phones. So why does this happen? They took a survey and 58% of cyberbullying happened because they just wanted to get revenge. And the next is 35%, and it was just to be mean. They just had a thorn in their foot and decided to be mean that day. And the 28% is just for entertainment. So this is for kids who are just scrolling on their phone at home, bored out of their mind, and decide that bullying might give them a little bit more of an interesting day. And the 11% is just to show off to friends. So when you're behind a screen, you'll have more confidence because you're not right in front of the person. And sometimes it's fun for kids to be able to show off to their friends, oh, look at this big act of confidence that I am taking to bully this person, even though deep down it's hiding behind a screen. So now that we've kind of looked at the types of bullying, I want to talk about the consequences. So an analogy that I love is the following. So I want you to close your eyes and picture a perfectly straight, flat piece of printer paper. No wrinkles or anything. Now I want you to crumple it up as tight as you can, as many little creases, and make it into a little snowball. Okay, now that you've done that, I want you to open the piece of paper up, and I want you to smooth out all the lines and make it look exactly how it looked before. You may realize that this is impossible. There's going to be a lot of lines and creases and maybe even rips, just like the following background here. And this is a good analogy for bullying and the antisocial teasing. This occurs, and slowly kids are crumpled into a ball as they're bullied, and the healing process can take place, but there are still those folds and those creases and left in the paper that can't be completely mended. It'll always stick with them. And so some of the things to look out for as a parent is when you see your child, to prevent from this happening, is to see when your child is more quiet, more lonely, sensitive, neglected, vulnerable, defenseless, rejected, cautious, withdrawn, or isolated. These are great signs to determine whether your child is currently being bullied, is a bully, or has been bullied. And I think that as we do our part to make sure that we keep our eye out and learn about the types of bullying and the types of teasing that can be extremely harmful and leave lifelong marks, we can better be parents and create the best future for them. Thank you.